Hello, everybody, and welcome to another SIG Windows meeting. It's the first meeting of the last month of the year. It's the 1st of December. As always, it's a recorded meeting, so please adhere to the CNCF Code of Conduct. And let's get started. We're really right at the edge of 1.20. It looks like most things are kind of clear and driving towards the right direction for us. So we only have a couple of small items in our agenda. Obviously, we've kind of talked about, once the 1.21.3 is open, we're going to talk about, merging some PRs that have been dormant or neglected for a while. So we're going to tackle that in the next couple of times. So let's start with the first one, Kubernetes contributor celebration. There's a link here. If you have not heard about it, December 10th through 13th, there's going to be a celebration for all the contributors. This is kind of given the fact that we haven't had the chance to see each other in person and at conferences and like in previous years, like usually people see each other twice a year. The SIG ContribX team decided to create this celebration. Go ahead and register. There's a registration form here. They'll give you information how to connect. Probably it's going to be on Discord, and there's going to be some events and activities here. So I haven't played any of these things, but I know my kids play Among Us. So I don't know about the rest of them. But go ahead and check it out if you're interested and you can spare a little bit of time during those days. Go ahead and sign up. The next thing I wanted to kind of point out, and I'll give you all like a couple of minutes to digest. We have the release notes, and there's a couple of additions that we wanted to add. Thank you, James, for giving me a couple of items to add here. Why don't you all take a look at this and see if there's anything else we should add or remove or anything else that we didn't call out. The one thing, Mark, is I couldn't find the PR where we PR'd container D to stable. I could not find it for the life of me.
I'll find it.
Yeah, I just need the ID if you can add that. But go ahead and spend a couple of minutes now. If anybody wants, if we're missing anything, let me know. And James, I don't know if you saw how I added the DSR changes, or I don't see Scott. I don't know if James, you're involved in that work as well. But I called it limited support because of the fact that load balancer health checks are not being implemented. Hope that's okay.
Yeah, I'd have to ask David. I wasn't working on that.
Okay. All right, does everything else look good for everybody? All right, I'll take that as thumbs up. Yeah, Mark, I'll incorporate your change later on. All right. We don't have anything else on our agenda. How is there anything that's of dire need for us to discuss for 1.20? Start with that. All right, nothing for 1.20. Oh, go ahead.
Hi, Michael. Yeah, so my name is Ankur. I'm with my colleagues here, Satish and Bhuvnesh, and we are working in Microsoft right now, specifically in the Azure data center division. So I don't think we have anything for 1.20. We actually just want to touch upon a Kubernetes bug that we have encountered, which is sort of hindering our progress in releasing a product that we're working on. And so do we talk about that now, or will like you want to cover something first and then we get to that?
Yeah, let me get a quick update on cluster API work, and then we'll get to
Okay.
your work anchor. Okay.
Okay,
So,
okay, sure. I'll wait.
no problem. Jay, Nadir, James, can we get an update on cluster API? How's the work of introducing Windows to copy along with the provider work? What's going on there?
Gab has some updates on that, right?
Yeah, currently working on Kappa. It works, so I should be sending out the PR to the image builder by today. I don't think anything needs to be updated on the provider end, at least for now. It's just all the changes in image builder. Sorry, thanks, Nadir.
This is awesome, Gab. I mean, like that's phenomenal. So no changes in provider code, just the image builder. That's nice.
Yeah, for Azure, we the image builder PR merged like right before Thanksgiving. So I think that's what Gab's working on. And I know vSphere has also got a PR open there. And then for Azure, I have a PR open that uses that image builder. I'm just trying to get an image published in our gallery so that the tests can pass. So once I have that done, it's all the work is there for Azure.
Okay, so let me see if I got this right. So AWS provider works and the PR will come out today. That's what Gab just told us. Azure, you said the image builder PR merge. Are there changes in the provider that you mentioned that you're working on now, James?
Yes.
Okay, so provider changes. And when do you think is ETA for that?
Once I get the image published, which I'm working on today, it's just a matter of getting it reviews and seeing the test pass. It's in draft form right now.
Okay, I'll say we'll get out for review soon. And then for the vSphere, the PR is open for what? For image builder or for the provider?
For both, but image builder, I think Perry just switched it from draft after James your PR merged, and then there's also a PR in CapV. Sorry, CapV is cluster API provider, vSphere.
Yeah, folks, that's awesome. That's tremendous progress. So once all of these PRs merge, would we require, since some of them require provider changes, would we need a new release of cluster API before people can utilize it? Or Nadir says no, I guess.
No, each provider is responsible for managing their own releases. So once they do a release on GitHub, that's it really.
How often do providers manage releases? Do you know, or
It's
we
up
can
to
control?
the maintainers. So
Okay.
for AWS, we've got a roughly monthly cadence, give or take certain bug fixes and things. Yeah.
Okay, so essentially, let's say by end of January, we'll probably have cluster API working for Windows across the board for AWS, Azure, and vSphere. Like adding 2 months from now, right?
Yeah, that's likely, yeah.
Cool. What is left? Saying, I mean, Google Cloud is probably the one that's not included here, right? I'm assuming nobody's working on that. All right.
I don't even know who the maintainers are for Google at the moment. I will go and check that on the Wednesday meeting, I think.
Yeah, if you can check Nadir, that'd be great, because then we can ping them and see. Okay, thank you. All right, any other updates from the cluster API world?
I don't know if we have anybody on here, but the OpenShift folks had a PR that used one of their, I guess they wrote their.
I think I wanted to talk about that, but I think, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
All right, yeah, I want to talk about that, but I think Arvind is here. I'll let him speak to that. We have a couple of approaches or competing approaches that James and on the OpenShift side we had. Like we wanted to have a discussion about that, but I'll let Arvind talk to that.
Yeah, so from what I understand, I think somebody pinged us on that PR requesting us to come to the cluster API meeting tomorrow to discuss this same issue. So I don't know if folks from, that meeting is present today and we can talk about it here.
We probably don't have all of the cluster API
Correct.
folks here. So if they ask you to go to the CABI meeting, it'll probably be best to be there. But make sure that Jay and Nadir and Gab and James are aware of that, which meeting you're going to. That way they can attend as well if they can.
Okay. So I'll ping you folks on the Kubernetes Slack on SIG Windows, and I'll let you know what meeting they've asked me to come to. I just linked to the comment that the person, I believe she works for Microsoft, Mark, but I'm not 100% sure. Let me
Yeah, I
quickly
think
look
it's
that up.
Yeah, it was Cecile.
Yeah, Cecile.
Yeah, Cecile. Yeah. Okay.
And that's the cluster API office hours, correct?
It's tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah, the community office hours. It's in
yes,
the,
it is. I think I sort of posted. I posted.
It's called the cluster API meeting.
Yeah,
It's
their
at 1
office
to 2
hours.
p.m. Eastern.
That's their office hours,
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah, let us know what goes after that. Thank you, Aravind and Ravi.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah.
All right, let's Ankur. Let's get back to your issue. Thank you for your patience.
Yep. So yeah, so basically we are here to discuss this issue of make WMI calls from server to pod. And I think an issue was a ticket was raised, even registered in GitHub in the Kubernetes thread. So I'll post that link in the chat. I'm assuming you're
yeah, someone posted already.
Okay, right. Bhuvnesh has posted it. Yeah. So I'm assuming you're aware of the issue. It's about making WMI calls.
So are you trying to make when you say calls to the server, that's like the host machine?
So if Bhuvnesh or Satish could chime in here, because they're from the engineering side.
Yeah. Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Yeah. So the issue that we are facing currently is we are trying to make a remote WMI call from the pod to a VM, right? And we are hitting the RPC server unavailable issue, which when we searched, we landed upon this bug. It is open and it is in backlog for some time. So we thought we will just check with you guys to see like how do we go about like most of our application uses WMI queries, and we are currently stuck at this place for us.
Satish, I think you mentioned the reverse. You said where you're originating the call from the pod to the server, right? While this bug is the reverse.
No, if you see the title is called to the server from the pod.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I should have paid more attention. So from the pod, is the URI, I mean, which specific, any WMI call fails or some specific ones?
So I have tested with the simple getting the OS version, disk space and everything, and everything failed with the same error. So I'm assuming that is common.
And when you're using WMI to bind to that server, you're using FQDN, right?
Yes.
Okay, and what kind of authentication is required for this WMI? Because if it requires, if it requires you to be able to call the WMI call as an authenticated Active Directory user, then you need to make sure that the WMI call is either called from a process that's local system or local service, so it can carry the identity in the network with GMSA. Otherwise, it won't work.
Okay.
You can create a command window as a regular user if you're not local system or local or network service, because then it won't carry your AD identity on the network.
Right. So currently we are running this application as a local user. I'm assuming that is the login it is checking.
Yeah, it won't work. unfortunately, it won't work.
So maybe I am wrong. So I tried. I mean, this is working in a Docker system, right? So there also it will be the same scenario, right? In a Docker container, I was able to get this thing.
So
I might be wrong. I just wanted to confirm that.
one other thing that you might want to check is, I believe by default, like pods won't be able to access the resources in the host network namespace. So you can set that. There's a field in the pod specs, host network true. I can provide an example pretty soon. You might need to set that also in order for the pods to be able to talk back to the hosts, or like to make connections to the host net resources.
Okay. Okay. So are you sharing something, Mark?
I'll drop a link in the Zoom chat in a second.
Okay. Okay.
I was looking for, here's another pod spec that runs on Windows that would use that. That would probably be one of the first things to try. Because I was looking at the bug. If this is working with Docker and not with Kubernetes, that could be network isolation in play here.
Okay. Okay, let me try this out from my end, and I will probably update with this.
Yeah, but basically, definitely try make sure that the FQDN is accessible, make sure GMSA is corrected correctly and connected correctly, and what Mark mentioned. Like with GMSA, make sure you can actually access network resources that have been tied to that account, right?
So I'm able to basically we have a application that talks to a SQL server on a VM, and I'm able to do the SQL calls properly with the GMSA account, right?
Okay.
So only this part, which is essentially getting the SQL Windows version and the amount of free space available. That is the call which is failing for us, right? And we have like other things which are also using the WMA calls, which might end up coming here, right? So that's why we wanted to check here. So I will check this part, network isolation part that Mark has mentioned, and from my side I'll see if it is working for me, right? So is there any other fix that I can try out, guys? If it is apart from this, like we will be meeting next week, right? So I thought.
There's a couple other folks to potentially reach out to as well. David Schott at Microsoft and Muzz Imam would both be good resources.
Oh, okay. Okay. I think I already sent a mail, but I think the folks were on vacation. I can talk to them again.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks here were on vacation and just starting to ramp back up.
Yeah, so I have the mail chat started, but yeah, let me follow up with them again in that case. Yeah. Okay.
Hey Mark, this is Bhuvnesh. Just on the Satish point of, so basically what link you have shared, is it this is using Flannel overlay, right? So for our purpose, we are using Azure CNI. So is there any difference, because since you have what link you have shared, it's looks like it's using Flannel overlay, right?
So that link I shared was just an example that I found that I knew where to get to of how to specify that host network in the pod spec. So that specific example is for deploying a Flannel container or container containing the Flannel CNI. That host network field should be able to apply to any pod spec though.
Okay. So yeah, we need to basically do it with respect to Azure CNI. So I think, we'll go through that actually.
Yeah, you might just be able to add that to the pod spec.
Okay.
Assuming that everything's working. And definitely what Michael said, make sure that you can authenticate correctly from your container.
Okay.
Cool. So so I guess we'll try the workaround. Hopefully it works. But do you plan to fix the issue or the bug, since it's open in GitHub?
Well, I mean, it it depends on if the issue is really, if it's a real problem or if it's something that misconfiguration, whether that's some of the issues that Mark mentioned or not running under the right credentials. But if it's really a bug and all the config is accurate, then obviously we'll take a look at it and prioritize it.
Okay. Yeah, first we'll have to figure out if it's an issue in the Windows or something we can fix in Kubernetes. These types of issues usually, I would say, are kind of, it's basically the prior, like we're really encouraging other folks to try and help fix the issues and get more contributions here.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so so I guess we'll try out the workaround, and then hopefully we'll get back to you with some feedback, whether it's an environment issue or it's something in Kubernetes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. Okay.
All right, folks.
Thank you.
So thank you. Jeremy Edwards from Google, I see that you added some comments on the SIG Windows notes around the health checks and the external traffic policy. Do you want to care to elaborate? Like, if you tell me how you want me to change the release notes, I can probably change that right now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, so I actually tried that pull request out, and it looks like it's not fully complete yet. Like, the functionality is there, but it like doesn't, it reacts like weird in at least in GCP, where the health checks are not enabled. So the load balancer is there. So the way load balancers work is you need a health checker to tell GCP load balancer where to send the traffic, what services what nodes can accept the traffic, and so if you look at the link I sent, if you scroll down a bit, you'll see screenshots of like everything being read and all that stuff. So that's kind of this is the bug that PR is against. And scroll up a bit. This is me trying to unit test a potential fix. So right there is a screenshot of the load balancer basically saying all of the nodes are unhealthy. So by default, it'll just pick one random node, which is in this case likely that the node won't be serving the workloads that can accept the traffic for local IP. So that's the problem with this PR.
Okay, so what you're saying is that unless we implement health checks, we can't really call this done.
Yeah.
So Marco, what do you think? Should you just remove it from the notes?
Probably. I think if it has the potential to cause some confusion, yeah, we should make sure, like, we should remove it from the notes and keep the notes really crisp and clear.
Yeah. All right. Oops.
So,
you know what? I'm gonna add it like this. That way we can cross it out. Go ahead.
So I had a potential fix. The thing is I don't know if I've had issues with it. One is I'm not sure how general it can be applied, and the other one is I've been asking on SIG Windows with some help on how to unit test it and get the test working, but I haven't been able to successfully get the tests. And I'm by no means a network expert, so any help there would be appreciated. The link has the reference to the potential fix.
I'll try to connect. Yeah, I'll try to connect you to the folks in the Microsoft Windows who own the kube-proxy, and we can see with them.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Should I put this on? I'll add the. Should I just like create the PR that's like broken and then link it into this document?
Sure, that sounds good.
Yeah, add it to next week. That way, if you let me add something for next week. That way you we can discuss it next week as well, Jeremy, and potentially maybe if David or others are here, then you all can discuss it.
Okay, I'll do that as well then. Thank you.
Cool. All right, folks. We're pretty much out of time. Thank you all for attending, and have a great month and a good rest of your week. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.